You know, when you pick up your phone for one thing and somehow you end up scrolling for like 10 minutes, you don't even remember why it is that you picked it up in the first place. For me, it's usually right when I get home from work because I'm tired. I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. I don't even have the energy to order food. Like it's that bad. One of those days, it just feels like scrolling is the only answer. Scrolling feels nice. I can just relax, laugh, and shut my brain off for a bit, to be honest. But the reality is that this used to happen way more often than I would like to admit. So, what's actually happening is most people think they scroll because they're lazy or even indecisive, but that's not really it. You're getting this like high for very little effort, and after a long day, like the one that I'm describing, it's kind of hard to compete with. I started noticing that I would spend more time scrolling than it would have taken me to just do the thing that I was avoiding. So funny. I tried deleting the apps, and while it did work for a little bit, the second that I decided, you know what, never mind, it was so easy to just put them back on my phone. That's when I realized this isn't something you can fix externally. The change has to be more internal. What really changed for me was I had to stop pretending that my attention didn't matter. I had to start treating it like something that I actually owned. This is because your time and your attention, they're going to go somewhere, no matter what. That means that if you're doom scrolling, you're pretty much choosing to give it away for free. I know it's kind of a harsh truth, but I started to ask myself, where else could I put this same time and attention that would actually make me feel better about myself and just bring me overall peace? For me, I'll say the biggest trigger was sitting on the couch. So that changed. The minute that I got home, I would immediately change into home clothes or start prepping dinner, or if I'm not going to have dinner yet, at least I'll get everything ready, right? Say that I already had all of that ready, I would at least have a mental list of things that I would like to do in place of doom scrolling. So reading, sewing, learning something new on YouTube. And if it was a day where I wanted to decompress, I would just go straight to do my workout. Basically, give it no time for me to get to the couch. That doesn't mean that I don't scroll anymore. I do scroll sometimes. I'm a human. But it's after I've already done everything that I wanted to do, so it's not like I feel any guilt or shame associated with that doom scrolling anymore. The second shift for me was finding a way to make the focus easier for me. So I started to pay attention to the physical action that led to the distraction and trying to reduce it. So, one rule that I came up with was the moment that I feel even just a little bit of shame, like, why am I still scrolling? I immediately put my phone face down. I'll do anything else. Even if it's just staring at the wall for 5 seconds, like anything other than being on the phone. I know that it sounds small, but it's enough to break that automatic loop that seems to just happen. I also stopped thinking of any time that I didn't spend scrolling as boredom. I thought of it more as like quiet, calm. There's a lot happening around you all the time, but it's easy to miss when your brain is constantly stimulated. Even sometimes scrolling is kind of a tough topic, but scrolling can also be just avoiding something deeper. And instead of ignoring that, I started asking, what would actually make me feel more like myself right now? A lot of those things did push me out of my comfort zone, but they were way more fulfilling than, sitting on my couch. I also did replace scrolling with things that I genuinely enjoyed, things that I had been wanting to do for a while. So, two things that I'll share. One is hot yoga, and the other one is music production. So now it feels like some of my evenings, I'm booked like hour to hour. I already know what I'm going to be doing, and I spend way less time scrolling. Now my evenings are way more structured. Honestly, I like it because I'm doing things that I genuinely enjoy. And even if it happens that I scroll for those 10 minutes, it's coming to the point where I look forward to it instead of feeling like shame around it. Now, this is the part where people kind of skirt around the issue. Scrolling can be super hard to escape because it's so easy. And there's companies out there, they're benefiting from your attention being fragmented. Until you start working on this for yourself, this habit's kind of tough to break. And in fact, it's very easy for it to get worse. This change that I'm talking about, it didn't happen overnight. It also didn't change the person that I am. I'm still me. I just feel like I trust myself a lot more now. I noticed that I'm a lot more present. Uh, Even in something like hot yoga, it forces you to just focus on your breathing. And once you try it, you'll see what I mean. But it's actually kind of a gift. You're forced to be so present. And I wouldn't have found it if I hadn't really dug deep and looked for what do I actually want to spend my time on. If you only do one thing this week, try and notice when you catch yourself scrolling, that moment where you think, wait. How long have I been doing this? Have an action ready, have something ready. Like, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to drink water, some sort of, I don't want to say punishment, but like punishment, like result for realizing, oh shoot, I'm doom scrolling again. Something just small to interrupt the pattern, interrupt the behavior that your brain is used to. Finally, the tough part is to stop internalizing the shame that more or less makes it worse. Your habits aren't you, you're not defined by them. You can change them, but it happens in small daily decisions. Just remember your attention is yours. You have to start treating it that way. If this resonated at all, subscribe and follow along. I'll be covering other topics that can help you feel more in control of your life and in control of your time.